soon as I walk by. I put up one of my business cards in the their satanic barbershop over here with skull and bones all over it, and the siren goes off. Wake up, America! This is your Nazi New World Order, folks. You better wake up. Well, I'm going to continue on with my my story. It's actually not a story. It's very much the truth about what has happened to me since I got involved with these criminals. Colin Powell, George Bush, your criminal Barack Obama, who's CIA. All these fuckers are Satanists. That's the first thing you need to know about your government. They're satanic. Ooh, look at all the Montauk shit. That's where I think they're doing a lot of this satanic shit, mind control. In fact, I know that's where they're doing it, out here in Montauk. I moved from Colorado out here to New York because I was experiencing this mind control out there. And where did I wind up moving? To a little town called Brookhaven, which just happens to be the home of the Brookhaven National Labs in Montauk, Mind Control Central. But let me just kind of go on with part of the rest of my TI. How we got a black president story here. But so I had this surgery in Tampa, Florida. The first one went okay. It was done by a seasoned surgeon, or at least a more experienced resident surgeon. And the second one was a total nightmare, done by a totally inexperienced resident surgeon who later wrote me and told me he had minimal experience at the time of the surgery and was visibly shaking, almost like a leaf, going into surgery. Like an idiot, I let him operate on me and almost died afterwards. My whole face got infected. He wound up severing all kinds of nerves in my face. My saliva glands got all screwed up. I wound up developing stones in my face. They had to remove about a third of my face. Got so sick. Never was so sick. Almost died. Turned a horrible brownish yellowish color. I know what it is to almost die, trust me. And dying is not fun. You can trust me on that. The body does not want to die, and it'll fight like hell to stay alive. But so that's what I went to after I had this surgery done at Tampa Hospital, there at the VA hospital in Tampa. You know, looking back, and after I started getting targeted, not that long afterwards, having people go in my house, in my car, move things, take things, move things around. This was after I wrote Colin Powell, thinking he should be a black president. You try to do something good, and what happens to you? I think these bastards may have implanted me with something. Now, they're implanting us all with chemtrails. This I know for a fact, with nanotechnology and chemtrails. So we're all being implanted. I may have gotten a little extra. Because after I had that surgery, and somebody told me, says, well, that's why he was shaking, because he was getting ready to implant you. So I'm still trying to find out. I mean, there's talk all over the web of people that are being implanted. They're having frequencies that are emitting out of their head, their neck, wherever they had these implants done. You know, I've been up to this point. I've been so busy uncovering all the rest of their crimes that I haven't had time to really find out what really happened to me. But you know, when I start looking around after I started experiencing this mind control and seeing that everybody is implanted now, everybody. Yeah, some of us may have gotten the royal treatment with implants, but now everyone is implanted with nanotechnology, and they can march you around like a robot. I've seen it. I experience it every day because they use it on me. They use it to harass me, to torture me. It's to keep me silent about this fucking criminal in the White House, Obama, who was installed there by George Bush. They do everything to try to discredit me, make me look crazy, you name it. This is how the CIA operates. You must understand that. I have a neighbor, she's a nurse, and she was telling me about a story about a friend of hers who worked for the CIA all her life, getting ready to retire. And what did they do to her? She knew too much, and they wound up putting her in a mental hospital. They set her up. And they just harassed her and targeted her so badly that she just, she couldn't take it anymore. She's been in there for 5 years now. I mean, this is the kind of reward you get for serving your country. These are the kind of snakes that we're dealing with these CIA son of a bitches. They have no honor. They're satanic. They're totally evil. Just look at your skies. Look at what's being done to you. You're being implanted. You are implanted. Well, let me get back to my story. So anyway, so I had written Powell. I thought we needed a black president. Like a fool. I wrote this satanic piece of shit. Him and his son, Michael, both Satanists from hell, CIA criminals. Michael did almost destroyed our country single-handedly, gutting the FCC regulations and laws that allow for a free and balanced press. But that's what the CIA does, you know. So I got these guys' number. I'm exposing them, and I'm targeted. But it, you know, so I had written him, and I had these surgeries done. And I come back to Colorado to try to resume my life. I was born and raised in Colorado. Had been gone quite a while between the military and businesses, and I decided to come home to Colorado, and I wanted to enjoy the rest of my life and live in peace. And I moved up to the mountains, absolutely beautiful, but no peace to be found with these psychopaths on my tail. I go back to school to get an MBA. I already had an MBA, a real MBA, in my own business. I didn't need some stupid piece of paper. But sometimes, you know, the world needs pieces of paper. You don't need it, but they do. So I decided to go ahead and go back and get my degree, an MBA. And I graduate with honors at the top of my class in 2002. And I had been writing Colin Powell because at the time I still believed in that snake. I didn't know he was such a CIA snake. I didn't know he was such a lowlife as he is. And he may have been actually involved in having me implanted if indeed I do find out I'm implanted. Because all this shit started right after I started writing him. I had my surgeries in '98. And if you look at the letter underneath my YouTube videos, you'll see I had this letter from Colin Powell, which was in 1998. And right after he wrote me is when all this shit started happening. That's when I had my surgery. And this guy was shaking like a leaf going into surgery. So I don't know if something happened that day, but it wouldn't be the first time that they have used veterans and service members as guinea pigs in their satanic projects. So I'm still trying to get to the bottom of that. But it doesn't, you know, it almost doesn't really matter because we're all implanted now. Regardless whether I got implanted at a VA hospital or not, we all are implanted because I'm seeing this mind control, and they can track anyone, anywhere. They can move them around. They can mind control them. and they can do it all in synchronicity too. It's really fucking bizarre to see. Our brains have been uplinked to their quantum computers, and they can march us around like little robots. Little robots is what we are now to these people, these New World Order CIA Satanists. So they have this technology. They have technology really now, which is almost unbelievable. But you can be sure they can mind control anyone, anywhere, to do almost anything, anytime, any place. I have these loudspeakers all of a sudden come up while I'm sitting here trying to talk. Yeah, this is the CIA, folks. We're talking NSA. These people, they think they're God. They think they can do anything, and they're doing anything they want to people. And I'm going to keep exposing them for the satanic piece of shit that they are. So anyway, so I had these surgeries done. I come back to Colorado, and I was working on my MBA, and I was studying Colin Powell. At the time, I still thought he was some kind of a halfway decent human being, and not the CIA reptilian bastard that he probably is. But and so I was sending him case studies on the global community, how we can work better together. He was Secretary of the State at the time, and how we could work together in the global community, not realizing the global community is another name for a New World Order. At the time, I didn't know a whole lot about the New World Order. And so I was writing him. I guess he liked these case studies. I sent him several of them. I even heard some of my ideas bantied around on TV. I'm going, what the fuck? I guess you can make a difference. And then who shows up in my MBA class? Dick Cheney's daughter. The lesbo. Liz Cheney. And she is a lesbian. They're all Satanists. They pretend to be Christians. There's nothing Christian about these son of a bitches. They're satanic pieces of shit from hell. Okay? She showed up in my my MBA class doing her thing. She's lesbian shit, and she had Secret Service people all over the place, and just all kinds of. The CIA comes to our school, starts recruiting people all the time, and like an idiot, I go to one of their recruiting days, just more out of curiosity. Never really serious about going into the CIA. I was so sick at the time after these surgeries that I was getting a little desperate, I guess. And so I go to one of their career days, and I tell them about my story about Colin Powell and all this weird stuff, and I think that's what that is when things really started to kick off. I mean, I had a weird shit starting to happen to me in Florida. People coming in my house, my car, moving things. They took my green berets out of the garage. I had a duffel bag full of my uniforms, and all of a sudden I got all my green berets are missing, and all kinds of weird shit like that. So, you know, at the time I didn't know anything about mind control, monarch mind control, shit going on in the church. The church is involved in monarch mind control. In fact, Oral Roberts University has one of the biggest CIA monarch mind control programs in the country. They let the CIA run rampant on their campus. This is the kind of shit that is happening in our so-called churches. They're churches from hell, and they practice satanic ritual abuse and monarch mind control on their followers to keep us in line, you know. And it fits right in with the CIA. The CIA has always known the best way to control people is through religion in the church. So this is what's going on, and it's just been a long journey finding out all this stuff and what's happening. But so I was sending Colin Powell about, you know, these case studies. I guess he liked them. So started seeing a lot of weird stuff happening around me, and in this stuff with Cheney's daughter. Right at the time, right at that point is when 9/11 just happened to happen, and I wrote Colin Powell, well, thank God the terrorists didn't have a nuclear bomb, because all you heard was ground zero this, ground zero that, and you know, I was in during '84 when we went and pulled the guys out of the barracks in Beirut in Lebanon. Our unit pulled the Marines out of the barracks there, and so I was pretty sensitive to terrorism. I really believe this stuff was real. Then I start finding out that our country may have been even a false flag event. Even then, we may have been involved in that fucking thing to wage a war over there. So you start finding out the truth about your country, and it isn't very pretty. And the more you start to know, I guess the more of a danger you become to these criminals. So I certainly wasn't going to be one of them. So I come back. I finally get my MBA. Was very sick after these surgeries, these botched surgeries, and God knows what he did to me. But said I almost died, and it took me 4 years to finally find out what right surgeries I need, and I had all these wrong surgeries done at VA hospitals. Almost died in the process, and so I started fighting for healthcare reform along the way. And what comes along? Obamacare, probably another one of their CIA nightmares. And so that was, you know, that was going on, and you know, I started. Oh yeah, the 9/11 happened, and after I wrote Colin Powell this letter, or this letter stating, well, thank God they didn't have a nuclear bomb, because all you were hearing was ground zero this, ground zero that, and then what do I hear? Then I hear Bush and Condoleezza Rice go on TV and talk about this huge mushroom cloud that may happen if we don't go into Iraq. I mean, right then I knew the son of a bitches were lying. Right then I knew the whole thing was one big fucking lie, and they were grasping at everything they could to justify going into war. And so, you know, I tried to stop the Iraq war, and because I knew it was a bunch of fucking bullshit. And I wrote, anyways, we all had each other's email addresses, you know, being in an MBA program, and so I wrote Liz Cheney an email, an anti-war email, trying to stop the war. And so what do I get? I start getting helicopters hovering over my fucking house. I'm not kidding. I almost shook the roof off. It was so low. Oh fuck. You know, and from there it just spiraled. It got worse and worse and worse, the targeting. And I was starting to see all kinds of weird shit, having problems, weird things going on with my neighbors. They were acting weird. I didn't know about mind control. I had no idea about mind control. But I think as far back as 2002, they were using this on me. And if you look at the World Trade Center back in 2001, you'll see chemtrails all over the place. So they were using mind control back then, you can be sure. And they used mind control and all these false flag events to control the situation. So always look at your sky. You can be sure it's one big mind control event amongst a lot of other shit going on. But so this stuff was going on, and right then I started knowing what a bunch of snakes I was dealing with here with Powell and Cheney and Bush and all these people, and trying to do the right thing and stop a criminal war, and just got totally targeted and hosed for it. And you know, it's still going on to this day. I started researching online, started learning a lot about stuff, and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And finally it got so bad I moved way the hell up in the mountains, up into Telluride, 14,000 feet. I said, well, maybe they can't fuck with me there. But around 2005, 2006, it kind of got a little better when I got up there. I got a little bit of peace for about a year or so, a year or two, and then all hell broke loose in 2005, 2006 when they passed the NDAA, and they allowed the military to operate in this country legally. The CIA has already been taken over this country covertly. But now they're doing everything right out in the open and legally. And the NDAA was signed into law with the Military Commissions Act. I believe that's what it is, allowing the military to operate freely in this country without any oversight. And this is what's happening with chemtrails, mind control. The military is very involved in that. Your secret agencies, your contracting out through the military-industrial complex. It's all been let loose on us. And that's when mind control really started hitting me in 2006. Living up in the mountains, I started having my neighbors really start fucking going weird on me. I'd walk outside, they'd walk outside. I'd go to the grocery store, I'd see the same person there all the time, or I'd start seeing weird activity all the time. I couldn't go anywhere without seeing somebody. I'd go down some desolate road up in the mountains and somebody would show up. You know, it just what they're doing with mind control is almost unbelievable. And you have to read my articles underneath my YouTube links and on my Facebook page to see what they're doing. They're taking over people's minds and they're using them to stalk people and harass people unwittingly. And they sensitize you to all kinds of things. But they're taking over people's minds to do this, and it's very real. It's absolutely real. This is going on. This is what's happening in your country. Every one of us has been implanted with these nanobots. It's called a bio app, and they're spraying us with nanotechnology, with biotechnology, chemical technology. They're just fucking doing anything they want to us. And our cowards in our local government aren't doing anything to stop it. They're hosing us from the sky every day. And you know, even when you don't see them, they're up there spraying behind the clouds. They're spraying at night. They have gone absolutely fucking wild, and there's nobody's stopping them. Nobody's holding them accountable. And so, you know, Hitler, everything he did legally. He passed laws to allow him to do these things. So, you know, I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe there's going to have to be a massive... people are just going to start dropping dead in the streets, but that's not how the New World Order operates. They operate covertly, silently. Kennedy tried to warn against that, how these people operate, and that they're not by armies by day. They do shit. They'll slowly just mind control you, implant you until you fall under their total control. I can't even begin to tell you all the things that these people are probably doing. All I know is that we all have been implanted. So I was getting this stuff really bad up in Telluride around 2006. Start seeing cops everywhere and weird shit, you know. You start freaking out. What the hell is going on? You think, my God, are the cops all in on this? And I mean, your neighbors, everybody turned into a Nazi or something? And I just couldn't figure out. I had to leave a place that I loved to figure out what the hell was going on. And so what did I do? I wound up packing up. I had a beautiful home up there, beautiful house where I was living, and just absolutely gorgeous place. Had bears for neighbors and cougars, and just absolutely beautiful. And I thought I was going to live there the rest of my life. But what happened? All this shit started happening to me, and I just packed up my shit, packed up everything. I gave most of it away, and I'm still trying to piece my life back together. And I came out here out east. I got some because of this disability. I had a case before the Board of Veterans Appeals in Washington D.C. and I needed an attorney out there to represent me because it's right there in D.C. And so I go on Google, and what pops up? This attorney in Washington D.C. His name was Christopher Porco. What a name, Porco. You know, wow, that's a pretty unusual name. I called him, and he was very nice on the phone. He said, yeah, he agreed to take my case. I was living way the hell up in the mountains. You know, I would have let anybody take my case at that point. I felt so isolated and helpless up there. But I told him what was happening. My case is going to be coming up for review there at the Board of Veterans Appeals in D.C., and I needed a local attorney to take care of my case, and he was more than willing to take the case, and he was so nice, and I thought, man, this is unusual, because I've been through a nightmare with attorneys trying to get some justice after all this shit happened to me, and for somebody to just offer up to help me and do all this stuff, I just found it. I was just so happy, and then in our talks, he agrees to have me see private. I got to get away from these speakers that are all of a sudden going off. Okay, but yeah, he offers to take my case, not only take my case, but to pay for me to see private doctors that will write an independent medical evaluation to help me win my case.